Hey, you! Thanks for joining us. We really hope you enjoy it. So without further ado, it's the OVERTHUNK Podcast.
And we're live. What's up?
Hey.
How's it going?
All right.
Awesome.
Episode 2.
Yeah.
We made it, Mom. Back again for another one. We've heard from the fans.
Yeah.
All 4 of them. And we realized we never told you who we are, why we're doing this, what our master plan is. So I'm one of your co-hosts. It's Ezra Solomon, at Solomonosaurus on Twitter if you're looking for some good quality tweets once a month. Also joined by our other co-host, Keegan Adranza. What's that Twitter handle again, Keegan?
That's just at Keegasm04.
Keegasm04. Keegan's super mature. And
I can't change it now, bro. I don't know how to change my handle.
I don't think you can.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh, you
It
can.
is, yeah.
Here you go, bro.
Okay.
It's not too late to grow. And then we're joined by a special guest. He's pushing through the flu. We were going to postpone the recording, but Dylan was like, no, this is the most important thing in my life right now.
Have to be here.
So we're joined by Dylan Thomas McDonald.
He's a grown-ass man. and guys, we aren't J. Cole. We need features on our stuff.
We do. The strength of us two will eventually fail. Probably like in a week or so.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're going to be bringing in some people, usually our friends.
Yeah.
So like our pool of 6 friends will rotate.
Not randoms. We're not gonna like search for randoms on Gumtree or
Could work. Might
Could
find
work.
someone interesting.
Might lead to some stuff.
There'll be some celebrities we want to get onto action.
Yeah.
Possibly. But here we are. This is our not really top 10, but we're just going to talk about our favorite movies of 2017.
Yeah.
That's what we're here for. Before we get into it, I just want to retcon something. In the last podcast, I spoke about Jay-Z, and I may have kind of called him John Carter. I'm aware that that's not his name. I was very nervous. You know, Keegan's got dreamy eyes. I got distracted.
Oh.
His name's Sean Carter.
Again,
obviously.
wrong podcast.
I'm sorry about it. Now we can all move on.
Yeah.
It's done. I think that's the only thing I have to take back from that podcast. Otherwise, I stick by everything I said. Keegan?
Yeah. So today we're, like Ezra said, we're discussing our favorite movies of 2017. Quick disclaimer. Minor spoilers ahead, you know. We could discuss some smaller plot details. We won't go into too much detail, hopefully. But yeah, you have been warned.
Yeah, we'll try our best.
We will try our best.
We will try.
Yeah.
That's all we can guarantee.
Indeed.
So what we've done, pre-recording this podcast, we just compiled a little list. We had a quick brainstorm about what the movies were that we really enjoyed, which ones we had in common. We put together a little list of 12, I believe.
Yeah.
There's 12? Yes.
That's
Not good at the maths, so I had to consult.
That's just 12.
Just 12. That's my ceiling is 15, bro. We're getting close. We put together a little list. These are the movies that we're going to be talking about, and once we've done chatting about them, we're all going to hit a top 5.
Yeah.
But besides the top 5, we recommend you see all 12 of these movies.
Indeed. I mean, there's some good quality across. Like 2017, great year for movies. Like I said, for music. I feel like I'm repeating that line, just replacing it with movies. But yeah, if I look back at 2016, I mean, I saw a list of the best movies of 2016, and I was like, I don't know how many of these would get onto my 2017 list. Yeah, good quality this year.
Yeah.
All round. I mean, we got some great sci-fi movies. We got some great, Oscar bait type movies with your low-key sort of Lady Bird type movies.
And also your war movies. You got your Darkest Hours and your Dunkirks and your... Oh man, I said that, and then there's only like 2.
You felt that going down.
Yeah, I've done this to myself. Yeah, I guess. And you guys go to the cinema that much this year, Dylan?
No, I can't say. I mean, that's probably my biggest criticism of 2017 for myself, is that I just didn't get out to the cinema.
Yeah.
Went for Dunkirk, and I'd say that was worth it. But Logan as well, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I think that's one of the main reasons why I personally, I know you guys are talking about how great 2017 was, and I agree, but I felt like it could have been so much better for me personally if I'd gotten my ass up and just gone to the cinema.
Yeah.
Okay.
But maybe you personally, that was an indication that maybe 2016 was a bit better than 2017. Maybe there wasn't something that was enticing you to go to the cinema.
No, I agree. 2016 was just not great, but yeah, I feel like I could have enjoyed it so much more if I just went to the cinema this year.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, it must be said that the price of going to the cinema is
it's a put off.
It is a
big put off.
Yeah.
And I guess the ease of access to movies that we have now, being able to stream them at home. I mean, Netflix and
paid
stream
stream,
sites.
of course.
Yeah. No, I'm not afraid. I watch movies all the time. Quick, I mean, we are in Cape Town, South Africa. We don't even get some movies in the cinema.
Yeah, we don't. And if we do, sometimes it's far later than overseas.
Yeah, 6 months after,
I mean, how late did we get The Big Sick and Baby Driver? And
oh, goodness, yeah. I was lucky enough to be overseas when those were released, so I went and watched them. But, and I don't feel as bad about the movie industry as I do for the music industry. I'm well aware that, bands and musicians are not seeing as much, money as they used to from record sales and whatnot. I feel like actors are okay.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I don't know how the other half lives, but I don't see many artists selling their instruments to pay for their next tour, and I see that a lot nowadays with bands big and small. So don't feel as bad, but I think that's also probably the biggest thing for me is there are a lot of movies that I see trailers for and I see the actors in them. I'm like, oh, that looks really cool, but not really cool enough for me to
go see.
Go out. I'll wait until it's online.
Yeah, like I said, maybe that's the reason you didn't find yourself at I also think we probably didn't go as much as we have in the past. Like 2015, we were at the IMAX like every second week.
Oh yeah,
and that was peak. I loved that.
Yeah, 2015 was peak.
That was a great year for movie going for us.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, maybe next year we'll see a bit more.
Yeah, we are getting some good stuff.
I mean, from a blockbuster perspective, next year's already. We've got a couple of things in the pipeline that we know we're
right at the beginning even.
IMAXing, all the Marvel movies are coming out. We're getting to a critical point with them, and we're seeing some of the coolest stuff. We've got Black Panther coming in like a week or so.
Yeah.
Slated to be a game changer for a variety of reasons. And Avengers Infinity War, which it's an event.
It is.
I feel like the world's been waiting for this for a very long time, and they've been building it up masterfully, it must be said.
Yeah.
So exciting times ahead, but we're not talking about times ahead, we're talking about times past. 2019?
Jesus, where's my time? 2018.
Wow.
We're talking about 2017.
Keegan's about to go into cryo sleep until
I wish I could.
Yeah, just skip a year. Oh well, so I'm going to rattle off our list.
Yeah.
Should I include how many votes they got from the get-go?
I think that's it's important that they know this is not unanimous.
Right.
There are some
so in case you haven't
divisive
guessed,
stuff on our list.
there are 3 of us here, dropping some cool little info for you guys there. Hadn't guessed, and a couple of these movies got votes from all 3 of us. A few of them got 2 votes, some of them only got 1. So here we go. With 3 votes, 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Also with 3 votes, Get Out. After that, 3 votes for Logan.
Yeah.
And those are the only movies we all agreed on.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough. After that, a couple of them with 2 votes. We have The Disaster Artist, The Shape of Water, Thor Ragnarok, Blade Runner 2049, Call Me By Your Name. All receiving 2 votes.
In all fairness, probably would have been 3 if I'd seen some of that.
True. Because I think all of those are pretty strong outings, and a couple of them only got 1 vote, and those are It. Not IT. I was informed recently. Not a computer film. It. We've got.
It's the lamest name for a computer film. It's IT.
The Big Sick, Baby Driver, and Star Wars
with 1 vote.
With 1 vote, and Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, also only receiving 1 vote.
Surprisingly.
Pretty strong list.
Yeah.
A lot to talk about. Let's just dive into it with 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. Keegan, I think you were the first one.
I think what struck me most about that film from the get-go is how deftly it balances some really dark subject matter and humor, and some really good humor at that. I just like there's like this misconception that you can't include humor in big moments like those, and I think this movie absolutely nails it.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
No, without a doubt, I found the same thing. I mean, with the humor is just on point.
Yeah.
And the actors were just great.
Yeah.
Altogether as well. I mean, they caught you out at times with the humor where you just didn't expect it. And the next minute you having like a dry laugh to yourself.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it from that perspective.
Yeah, and I think it's also a bit difficult now. There are a lot of sensitive topics going on, and for better or for worse, we're living in a world with a lot more political correctness seeping into all fields, and a movie that is touching on so many sensitive touch points. Like hectic, crimes that everyone, I think, will disagree with. Your big threes, your rape and your murder, and racially motivated crimes. But then you've also got just your blatant sexism, blatant ageism. Are the police any good? There's some heady stuff.
They hit home with a few of those.
And I think it's great because it approaches them all kind of evenly for me. I never felt like this movie was saying racism is bad, but how bad is it the way we treat women, or like vice versa. I think it was just a great look into the difficulties that a lot of different people face, but just like through the lens of the main character.
I think it's important that when you're dealing with so many themes that you sort of give them all equal attention. So it's quite easy to come off as sort of just floating over one or two of those issues and then just going big on a certain one. This movie was actually very divisive. I was very in terms of people actually enjoying it.
For real?
I was surprised to see that because there was one complaint about them sort of humanizing Sam Rockwell's character.
I had seen an article about that.
But that hits home with what Ezra was saying earlier. I felt that was one of the cool things about the movie, is that I, at the start of the movie, thought, wow, Sam Rockwell's character's an asshole. And just halfway through, sort of started to sympathize with him. That's what makes it cool, is that you're seeing it from different perspectives.
And I loved it because it poses one of the, I think, biggest philosophical questions that a lot of people will at some point grapple with, which is, can you ever make up for an evil deed? If you do one bad thing, does that define you for the rest of your life? Can an act define a person? Can you undo something that you've done, even if it's impossible to actually undo that specific act? That's a great thing, and whether you agree with it or not, I think when we get to a place where we can't portray things, because then you don't agree with the film or the song or the book because it's talking about something you don't like, then kind of closing ourselves off to really feeling things, which is great because this movie made me feel things. Say that.
And not just that, that moral grey area is always going to lead to more interesting stories than a simple one-note tick of a character, excellent. The performances, man. Frances McDormand. Frances McDormand. Is she a shoo-in for Best Actress?
I don't know if she's a shoo-in, but definitely has to be one of the top contenders. But that's a pretty strong category at the Oscars. But her performance was amazing.
I mean, her performance especially shone out, in my opinion, because you look at Woody Harrelson, you get excited about those sorts of names. Sam Rockwell, for me in particular, I always love Sam Rockwell. But then she came through and kind of stole the show.
100%.
And for me, I know her best from Fargo. Such a different performance.
It is. It's very different.
So when anyone ever said Frances McDormand, that's what I'd think about. I'd be like, I love that. She was cool and quirky and stuff. And then when I saw she was in this movie, I was like, oh, she have that kind of range, and she definitely does.
It's sort of that character, but unhinged completely.
Oh, It's almost that character in a more real world gritty. Kind of light. But it was great.
Also, back to the point about the film being so divisive, is that it's important to see that the director isn't necessarily taking sides with those characters. Those really he's not trying to redeem Sam Rockwell's character, and I just think it's a really great sort of moral tug and
it was great. And I think also, speaking about that grey area, it's the strength of the film from a character perspective is that there were no one-note characters, and even when we're talking about your smallest side characters, Caleb Landry Jones, let's say, as Red,
was literally just looking up his name because I wanted to.
You wanted to talk about him.
Another guy on in the list as well with Get Out. I mean,
he had a good year.
His performance was like, I remember when he first pops up in the movie, I felt a certain way about him. I was like, okay, this is that kind of character. And then as the movie goes, he's got all these emotional nuances and these subtle notes, and what you kind of person you assumed he was from your first impression of him then evolves as many different things happen to him. And I'm speaking about a small side character here for those of you who haven't seen the movie. Not a lot of screen time, but yet impacts you so much, and that can be said for pretty much every single character that I can think of who had any sort of speaking lines. Like, there was no just flat, this is the guy that you see who sends the main character on their journey. No one felt like an NPC. If I can put it that way.
Yeah, that's very true. And surprisingly enough, when I was just on him, I mean, when I saw him in Get Out, I kind of knew this guy's going to be in something good very soon, and a lot of good things in the future, because he is
hopefully we see him carry in movies.
I think he definitely could
as a lead. That'd be cool. He's had a great year.
He has.
We can say that. What a great segue into our other movie that we all agreed on, Get Out.
Perfect.
Oh, I love it when it comes together. Oh my gosh.
Jordan Peele, man.
Jordan Peele. I was thinking about saving this for when we chat about the Oscars, but the only person to ever get a Best Director, Best Picture, and Best Original Screenplay nomination for their first movie ever.
Wow.
He wrote it, he directed it, and it got Best Picture. It's an amazing outing. I would love to see him win some of those. I don't know if he will. Still a lot of movies I have to watch before I can, weigh it up, but an amazing film.
It really was.
What I actually enjoyed about it, I watched it for the second time the other day, and just how well the movie plays on your second viewing, because then you start to think that makes sense now. Like, for instance,
spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Just how the white characters treat him. They're always remarking on his physical appearance and this like he do fine sort of thing. And then also like the black characters as well. Okay, I don't know how to not spoil this, but like they can't. They don't pick up on things you'd expect them to, like the fist pump, the failed fist pump.
Oh yeah.
And the fact that the grandma, is it?
Yeah.
She doesn't know what the word snitch means, for example. Like, just all these cool little details that play so nicely the second time around.
I think even past the second time, I think even on your third and fourth viewing, you'll probably pick up on some little stuff. I actually watched a video of Jordan Peele reacting to fan theories on Reddit, and there was some that popped up that make sense, and he hadn't ever even thought of them, which just I guess goes to show like the depth of the nuance of the subject matter of like race relations. Like there's so much that you might think is racist and I might not think, that kind of thing. And I think that's another strength of the movie, is that it obviously doesn't. I think all the movies on this list dealing with some sort of subject makes sure that they're not, one-dimensional or overly simplistic. Which is really cool.
Well, that was the great thing about this movie in particular. I mean, especially as South Africans, when we went in to go and watch it, I mean, you could go in white guy, Chinese guy, black guy, colored guy, and you'd all enjoy it more or less from the same place. I mean, it wasn't like everybody was going to take something different from the movie. It really was well handled with the subject matter. It didn't make you feel awkward about talking to your friends afterwards, and you just I loved it from that point of view.
And perhaps opens a dialogue in a way that an extremely serious, completely focused, like 12 Years a Slave sort of movie can't, because
exactly. That's a good
almost
point.
too sensitive a topic, even though I mean a long time ago compared to what's kind of been spoken about in Get Out, but even still almost too sensitive to broach in a conversation with your mates, whereas Get Out can maybe get those conversations going and stuff, which is really cool.
Interestingly enough, I remember seeing a lot of people with 12 Years a Slave saying, white people in particular, saying they were too afraid to go and talk about it afterwards, or even too afraid to see the movie because of the subject matter, which I personally don't agree with. I mean, as a white guy, I'm interested. I want to learn. You know.
Exactly.
But that's what this movie did brilliantly. Is that there wasn't even that fear going into the movie that it might put someone off. Everyone was into it. Everyone went in, and came out with something a lot deeper than initially anticipated.
Yeah.
So.
I think just to talk about Jordan Peele for a second, we all know him from Key and Peele, obviously. Comedic genius. And I think it's maybe a bit of a misstep on our parts not to realize that he had such great directorial potential.
Oh, of course.
If you see those skits in Key and Peele, some of them are really well directed.
Yeah, so great. And what Key and Peele did so well was subverting expectation. I mean, it's the basis of humor. Set up, this guy is a doctor, and then like feed line and punchline. He's not a doctor. He's just a guy who wants to look at people in hospital gowns.
Actual Key and Peele skit.
Yeah, That's the problem. Every joke's a Key and Peele skit. You just don't know about it. They did everything. Dave Chappelle's mad. But like, he's so good at subverting expectations, and he's learned from the 4 seasons that they did of Key and Peele?
Yeah.
Did they do a fifth?
It was 5. It was
5.
Yeah.
There are 5 seasons. It kind of dropped off near the end, but he learned so well, and this was so great because there was a lot of humor in it.
Yes.
It's obviously a horror film. It's a genre film, but he's managed to subvert both of those genres somehow and give you this new mix. And I think that's the reason it got a Best Picture nomination, because horror movies don't
crazy
get
for the
nominated.
genre. That's a first for the genre, I'm sure.
Horror movies and anything with any comedy in it. I mean, so that, there we go. He's taken.
It's
both
tough
of
to
them
do,
on.
and he just took these weird ingredients and made just such a great final mix out of it, which is really cool. He's also in the movie. It's the voice of the dying deer.
What?
Yeah, fun fact. He voiced that deer that they hit.
Okay.
Oh, spoiler alert, they hit a deer. Oh, sorry, I ruined it.
How are they going to get that payoff in the end now?
I know. Oh, I ruined the whole thing. That the movie's actually about treatment of deer. No. Another cool thing for me was the casting in terms of the white folk. Again, slight spoilers. We can't really talk about this movie without kind of getting into what the meat and potatoes of it is. Skip ahead
You should
a
have
couple
seen
minutes.
this by now.
Yeah, there's no excuse. It's been out for a while.
Yeah.
You should see it.
Should get out and see it. That doesn't even work. You can't even watch it in the cinema.
Yes, get out where? The video store? They don't exist anymore. Mr. Video, Blockbuster, they're all gone. But I think the strength is that all the people who are playing, especially the close, like outside of Caleb Landry Jones, don't have any air of like being sinister or having ill intentions. They all just seem the guy who plays the dad, spacing, but he was on West Wing for like 183 episodes. He is actually a very active activist for like race relations. He organizes marches. Like,
really?
I think they're very much chosen as people who you would assume from appearances, which I guess is another thing that the movie's trying to tell you, wouldn't be these types of people. And then that kind of subtle, even though we all knew what the movie was going in kind of from trailers, which is I guess the biggest problem for me with the movie industry in general, is that trailers have gotten very revealing.
Yeah,
but,
especially when they release multiple trailers.
Yeah, man, you get such a good idea of the story by putting them together. But so even us kind of knowing what the movie was about, the actress Alison Williams completely blew an amazing performance, completely blew me away. Just the oh my gosh, spoilers. But like when they hit the deer and then the police officer is there, the fact that she's not trying to, she just doesn't want a paper trail, doesn't want his ID shown because then they know that he was in that area when he goes missing, kind of thing. If he goes missing, I don't know what happens in the movie. Do people go missing? That sort of thing. The subtleties that it's a big part of that was casting. And I think the cast did an amazing job. Really good thing from Lakeith Stanfield, man, from Atlanta. He's been having. I mean, besides for being in Death Note, which is an atrocity, he's been doing pretty well, and I'm happy for him because he's really funny, and I hope he does some cool stuff in the future. And also, what is it, Lil Rel Howery? TS motherfucking A. I guess this one has to be explicit too now. Yeah, he was cool too. Like I didn't know of him. Apparently he's like quite a popular comedian. But just not here for us. But yeah, I thought he was great too.
Yeah, he stole the
Sex slaves.
It was so great. yeah, I don't have much else to say. Another interesting fact: budget was $4.5 million. It grossed, a rough estimate, because it's still kind of making $175.9 million.
Wow. Is that
Yeah.
like a percentage high enough to tell us the margin on that? That's
In terms of
crazy.
success, I don't think it's hyperbolic to say that it was astronomical.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
Yeah, great movie. As I say, I wasn't surprised when all three of us voted for it, because it's just one of those.
It is. Yeah.
Another thing that I wasn't surprised to see pop up on the list, just because I know you guys, was Logan.
Oof.
Yeah.
Man. Excellent. Just all around. That's the comic book movie I think most of us wanted.
Yeah, we've been waiting
that's
for
the
this
thing,
for so
yeah.
long. Yeah.
That's, I think Wolverine's the perfect superhero to bring out that R rating for. Just
True. Well, props to Deadpool
Yeah.
for opening the door.
for opening the door. Fair enough.
Yeah.
But
Thanks, Ryan Reynolds.
Wolverine's brutality just doesn't come through without that R rating.
That's true.
And I think you need that to show off just how powerful he is.
Yeah.
Plus the performances. I mean, you've got Patrick Stewart putting in
Oh yes.
that senile old man sort of.
Yeah. Best
beautiful.
supporting actor snub, in my opinion.
Yes. Well, Hugh Jackman's the best actor snub.
Actor
for
snub,
me.
yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
True. And they have spaces. They're allowed to nominate more people.
Yeah.
But
And
maybe that comic book stigma at the Oscars is still there. But
Probably.
I don't think it should be for Logan.
I don't think it will be for much longer. I mean, the way they're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
There's only so long you can deny it, really.
Because they've been breaking through. Like comic books, or comic book movies rather, have gone from being those hokey kind of things that you can take your kids to on the weekends
Yeah.
to being like serious dramatic outings.
Yeah.
That's what was so special about this for me, is that it works perfectly as a film and a comic book film.
Yeah.
You could take away Wolverine's superpowers and just give him guns and stuff. This would still work perfectly as a movie.
And I think if you had to go into watching this without previous knowledge of the character, you'd still enjoy it, because even the very small amount of expository dialogue that you get, kind of like you can piece together, almost would be kind of a cool watch, knowing nothing about them, but that's all you really need. Nothing was, one criticism that you can make of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is you can't really jump in at Civil War.
Yeah.
That movie doesn't make a lot of sense without a lot of backstory.
But this one.
And
You
Logan,
can,
coming from the X-Men franchise, which is based on the worst timeline and different storylines,
overlaps
being the
and
movie
stuff.
that anyone can watch, great outing from James Mangold, director and writer.
Yeah.
So,
And a vast improvement over, what is the previous one? The Wolverine?
X2, well, Wolverine 2. Was it called the Wolverine?
Yeah, the
That
Wolverine.
one. Yeah.
The one set in Japan.
Yeah.
Big improvement over that.
Oh, for sure.
And very different too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this isn't a popular opinion, but I mean, there's no debating Marvel movies are great, like we've been saying. We all actively, as a group, always go out and check them out.
Yeah.
But I felt as consistently good as all the Marvel films have been, I needed something different just to break that cycle. You can get too much of something great.
Definitely.
Because they were just consistently all brilliant. But this one is exactly what I needed, just to break away from those other Marvel movies for a bit. And
that's definitely the outlier.
When I say Marvel, I'm comic, like whole comic based,
True.
So this one did that for me. It just gave me something so different to the others, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think it's also cool that it's different from both franchises, Marvel and DC, because Marvel have, their universe that they've got going on now, which is, kind of descended into very samey a little bit, like you kind of did, point out, same kind of snappy jokes, same kind of cool set pieces, and not that that's bad, because their formula is so good that
you can't blame them for
it's going to be difficult for them to move out or mess it up at this point. Because, I mean, since Thor: The Dark World, I don't think they've had much of a misstep.
Yeah.
If we're being fair.
Yeah.
And especially financially, every movie, success.
Yeah.
And also from their counterparts, DC, you're kind of Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Very dark, very gritty, almost trying to counterpart the Marvel movies. This isn't that either, because it's very much, just feels like a great Western, and it is kind of a Western movie, which is great, because those are hard to do now too.
Yeah.
It's very much a genre that is tough to pull off in 2018. or even the 2010s in general. It's just not. I think what was the Johnny Depp Army Hammer Lone Ranger?
Yeah, Lone Ranger.
Yeah, it's difficult to do, man. People aren't into that anymore. You've got to give something special. The genre itself is not enough to pull audiences anymore. So yeah,
comfortably the best superhero movie of 2017 too, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I won't disagree with that.
Yeah, easily.
Yeah.
I mean, what did we get? We got Spider-Man: Homecoming. We got Wonder Woman,
which was good. Which was good. Wonder Woman was actually close to making my list. I almost put it forward.
Really?
Right.
Yeah. I watched it a second time as well. And
it played better on the second viewing?
It did actually play better on the second viewing. And I think people knocking Gal Gadot, knocking her performance, I think, is not fair at all. But yeah, unfortunately, Logan knocked it out and earned its spot on the list. Great performance from... I don't know how to say her name. Daphne Keane.
Oh, it's Daphne, bro.
Daphne?
Yeah.
That's how you spell
That's how
Daphne?
you say that, yes.
I thought Daphne was Daphne.
That is. You just probably spelled it wrong there or something.
Oh, maybe I got autocorrected.
Yeah, Daphne Keane.
Okay, Daphne Keane Fernandez.
As Laura, huh?
Yeah, as Laura.
Laura.
Great performance.
Yeah, that's a breakout performance. I hope to be seeing more
from her.
Yeah. She could put Ellie in The Last of Us type vibes there.
Yeah.
Easily.
Possibly.
Which later on in the list comes into why I suggested it. I mean, some of these kid performances we've been getting in 2017 have been,
it's a good
I mean,
show.
let's not talk about one of the biggest series in the world at the moment. Stranger Things. So.
Good year for
of course.
For kids, it's I mean, these child actors are really doing...
I guess that old rule of never work with animals and kids is kind of going out the window now, because we can
100%.
CG animals to the point where it's believable, and kids are getting better.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Sorry to go kind of off topic, but it's because of social media. Kids have got their Instagram and their Snapchat and everything, and from the time you have a phone, you're performing. Because the approval is immediately accessible to you. You can see your likes, your comments, and whatever. Even kids who aren't in show business have become better actors. Because of what you need to be to survive in society, I guess.
That's very true.
That is true.
And as terrible as that is for me and my prospective future kids, great for kid actors. So swings and roundabouts,
Indeed.
We'll suck the positive out of everything. Speaking of sucking the positive out of everything, specifically really bad things, with 2 votes, The Disaster Artist.
Ooh. Great. You didn't...
I didn't plan that. That's these segues just keep...
Damn, that's coming pretty naturally to
crazy.
you. James Franco's snub, man.
You think?
Yeah, definitely. I think he did a great job on this.
He did,
yeah.
It was a great performance.
He gets Tommy Wiseau spot on.
Yes.
And I think the danger with making this movie is that it would feel too much like actually watching The Room.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's nailed the sort of there's actually a decent amount of humanity in this movie.
There is.
I mean,
That's true.
There's an actual message behind it.
There really is.
Yeah.
I mean, and it wasn't just another James Franco movie, because he has a lot of hits and misses, a lot of misses that we don't even hear about. A lot of his friends always joking about how many movies he actually makes that nobody hears about. So, I mean, from that point of view, it really was great.
Yeah. A great movie about a shitty movie. You would have thought it would be
interesting.
This interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think it's a difficult concept to pull off.
Yeah.
I was watching an interview with James Franco, and he actually said so. Obviously, it's based on the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is where
Greg
Sestera's book.
The book's called The Disaster Artist. So that's where I guess a lot of the insight into the making of the movie, outside of just the scenes which they reenact, which are amazing.
Zac Efron's one is like the standout movie.
And Josh Hutcherson too.
Yes, Josh. Yeah.
So great. Just the fact that we're still laughing really hard, just remembering it. But James Franco was saying that the biggest reason why he wanted to make the movie was that, obviously outside of how successful he's been, Tommy's story was his story.
Yeah.
Like he just wanted to be good. He just wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
He loved James Dean. He
Just
James
ended
Franco
up differently for the two of them.
Exactly. James Franco actually played James Dean.
Yeah. Funnily enough.
So that he said he saw so many parallels. That's why he wanted to make the movie. And I think that might be a contributing factor as to why it wasn't James Franco playing James Franco.
Yeah.
And it seemed like his most motivated performance outside, what was that, something hours? How many
127.
hours? 127.
Yeah.
I was going to say 27. I was like, that's a bit short.
They actually joke about that, and this is the end. They make that exact same joke.
Like, it's cool because it was nice to see James Franco sort of invigorated to play not tired James Franco stoner.
Yeah.
Which can get boring, man.
Yeah.
Like, I love Freaks and Geeks and I love Pineapple Express, but I need more to be, properly engaged. Dave Franco, an above average performance because, I mean, controversial opinion, I don't think Dave Franco's that great.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, he's maybe he just started quite young and maybe his acting chops are developing now. We're going to see him in some better stuff. So
cool to see them side by side in the same movie, though.
Yeah.
It's really, really cool.
Cool.
Yeah, but having said that, I know I mentioned the Oscar snub earlier. I can sort of understand it, and light of
with
what
the controversy. Yeah,
I can.
Having dropped just before the Oscar announcement.
Yeah, it's just
was he removed from the list of nominees? Who knows? I don't really know the inner workings. Unfortunately, we're not in the industry unless someone listening wants to get us in there. Yes, our emails on the bottom of the podcast. I don't exactly know how it works.
Yeah.
But it would make sense to me to try and keep that sort of thing out of the Oscars, especially after last year with Affleck, young Casey. So.
Yeah.
Which unfortunately was announced after he'd been nominated. There's no avoiding it.
As I said, the timing is just so unfortunate with these things. I mean, I'm not going to speculate on that, but it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
Got a Golden Globe though, so not a complete loss for James.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the only one who didn't vote for it. Not for any negative reasons. I don't really have much bad to say about the movie.
Sometimes
I enjoyed
other
it.
things just
It just didn't quite make the cut. I do recommend everyone watch it. I do think you should watch The Room first.
Yeah.
You would enjoy it without The Room, but you would find it way better knowing a bit about
I watched it with
backstory.
people for the second time. I watched it with people that hadn't seen The Room, and things that I was completely dying at. They didn't quite hit them. So definitely watch The Room first.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't take a lot of time. You could literally, in 5 minutes, find a nicely cropped video on YouTube of all the best moments from the movie.
Pretty much,
true.
yeah.
And there's probably the stuff you laugh at,
Yeah. So you don't really have to commit to the whole thing, but
we understand if you don't want to commit.
But you should, because I think everyone should watch the worst movie ever.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, not really. There's Birdemic 2, which is also pretty bad, or Zombieva, but
lots of opportunities for James to push forward with new projects.
Pitch it to him, bro.
Send that bitch email. Okay. Another thing that also got 2 votes from us was The Shape of Water. Guillermo del Toro, who is, I'm not not going to claim to have seen his full discography, but from what I have seen...
Discography, you said.
Oh my gosh, filmography. Oh man. I don't even know what to say in defense of myself. That's terrible. I read too many Wikipedia articles. But yeah, he's great. I enjoy all of his movies. He's got such an eye for making things look cool.
That's the thing that strikes you immediately about this film is the visuals. I think he's an expert at creating those sort of weird, beautiful worlds, and those sweeping camera shots, bro. Those longer takes.
That rotation around the spiral staircase, coming to show you the establishment shot of where she lives, from her room to the extended room, to the passage, and then coming down the stairs.
To the cinema,
He, in 2 minutes, gives you such a complete understanding of that space that he's going to play with later, that he doesn't have to give you establishing shots. He can show you someone walking out of a door and appearing somewhere else, and you piece it together in your mind where they've gone. Just a great director. It must be said. He gets creatures so right.
He does.
So right. Same guy. Oh, no, go ahead.
No, I think maybe that was one of the slight criticisms about the film, was that the creature in this film was too similar to the creature in
from
Hellboy.
Yeah. Possibly because also played by Doug Jones. He's the creature guy in Hollywood. He just does inhuman movements, I think, so well that he gets put into a lot
He's the creature guy, and Andy Serkis is the sort of the voice of...
He's the Andy Serkis
Very
is the motion
typecast.
capture guy,
and
Doug Jones is the costume guy, I think. But because Doug Jones did Hellboy, He was Abe in that, and he's done a whole bunch of other stuff that now I regret bringing up because I've forgotten all of them. But yeah, Guillermo's whoever he's working with for costume, I don't know if it's the same all the time, but Pan's Labyrinth and Hellboy, and now this, I'm just
always gets it spot on.
In awe. Sally Hawkins.
Oh, really funny is that I thought that she was like a mute,
yeah,
and that's because she portrays a mute so well. She gets all the mannerisms spot on.
She does. She sells it.
Yeah, she does, and I would not be upset if she won Best Actress.
I wouldn't either, which is something that, because after watching 3 Billboards, in my mind I was like, Frances McDormand, done and done. She's gonna get Best Actress, like, no doubt. And then because we only just recently watched The Shape of Water, actually went with Keegan and another friend, Neil. Even just saying his name. I don't know if I can make inside jokes on a podcast. I'm doing it.
He's trash.
Oh my gosh. Neil's the dad from Rick and Morty. I've forgotten my train of thought because I'm making fun of Neil. What was I speaking about?
Might as well just end the podcast there.
You know what you need to know about life now. It's Neil's bad. Oh man.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Completely spaced.
Yeah, I think performances all around. What was that? Richard Jenkins, I think his name is.
Yes, Richard Jenkins was amazing.
Yeah.
Michael Stuhlbarg.
Yeah. Oh. If you don't know him, he was Psy in Fargo season 3. And he was also in Call Me By Your Name.
He wasn't Call Me By Your Name?
Great year for him.
The weird time turner guy in Men in Black 3.
Oh, okay.
Deep cuts, but there you go.
That's a deep cut.
I recognize his face so much immediately from that because it was so exaggerated, and they always had these big shots of just his face. So that's the first thing I think of whenever I see him. I can't help it. I'm sorry to do that to you, Michael Stuhlbarg, because I'm sure it's not your favorite performance, but I liked it. So good on you.
Yeah.
Michael Shannon.
Ooh.
Being a Michael Shannon villain, as only he can. He sells Sinister so well.
He does. Just got a face for it.
Yeah.
He does.
And he's funny too.
Yes, yeah.
He can say the most weird kind of fucked up shit. I still kind of giggle because he's got this humor to him.
Yeah.
Octavia as well.
Octavia Spencer.
Picking up some good roles, man. Like,
she's become just an amazingly solid actress. Everything I see her in, she's just
remember her in Snowpiercer as well? Similar kind of
man,
setting.
she was great in that. Yeah, she's just like clutch now. Just a go-to. I think that's kind of it from the cast perspective. Yeah. But they all really did do a good job. I must say, I know we said, if you can't get to the movies, maybe stream your stuff. Do not stream The Shape of Water if you can't get an amazing copy of it because
it's really reliant on the visuals. Yeah,
is it out for streaming already? I mean, was it?
It
is, but
can I say this? It had been on the one site and then they took it down and stuff. But it will be soon. But I do think it's worth seeing in cinema or waiting until it's out on Blu-ray, so you can get that 1080.
So you can buy the Blu-ray.
But yeah, just visually, I think a feast for the eyes. You could be deaf and watch it with closed captions, and I think you'd still really like the movie. Which is really cool. I'm set in a different time, which is cool. Weirdly enough, not a lot of movies set in that time that go for your kind of sci-fi-ish thing. It's not a historical movie.
Having said that, I mean, this is the least sci-fi type of sci-fi movie you can get, really.
Sure, I just don't exactly know what to call it. It's a Del Toro movie, I guess. It's a genre of its own now.
I guess
you could say that.
Yeah. It's all about the humanity in that sort of setting, and
sure, but isn't sci-fi the best genre to speak about humanity because it takes pulling humans out of a familiar kind of environment, putting them in a different situation for us to kind of really see who we are as humanity sometimes, which is the strength of the original Star Wars trilogy and why Star Trek got so big back then when sci-fi wasn't really like a sure deal in terms of money. Was just people connected with the humanity and the story and the characters more so than they did the flashy stuff around it. And we kind of are sort of in the opposite place now, where you can get away with just having a flashy, good-looking, cool stuff movie. You don't really have to have much in it.
One of those movies on the list.
We know what we're talking about.
We're getting
there. But yeah, like your Transformers.
Yeah.
I mean, Pacific Rim, like, some people liked the first one, some people didn't. Having seen trailers for the second one, I'm like, man, this is getting Transformers.
Yeah, it is.
A little bit. And yeah, it's nice to see people still telling human... Oh, I mean, people are always going to tell human stories. They're always going to be good filmmakers, but it's nice to be able to see and watch those and enjoy them.
Yeah.
You did.
I think we've sold Dylan on this movie.
Yeah, you definitely have.
But
this is another one of those that I think would have made my list, and look forward to seeing it.
to be fair, it's quite recent.
Yeah.
Even overseas in the US, only recently.
Hope there's not some recency bias in our voting for this movie.
I don't think so. I really don't.
Let's hope it ages well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it will, because even the movies on the bottom of Guillermo del Toro's filmography, got it right, I still kind of go back to them just because they're fun.
Yeah.
So even if this isn't necessarily like going to move me forever, I'll probably still watch it at some point because it's beautiful.
Well, it says a lot about Guillermo that you guys can pretty much explain it to me, and I've just got a sense of what it is.
Oh yeah? Oh,
It's
that's
just
great.
one of those things.
Awesome.
Yeah, another thing that I think we've all seen this one, but only 2 votes. Thor Ragnarok.
Oh.
I actually have not seen it.
Oh, you haven't seen it? There we go. There we go. That's why I was confused.
Yeah.
But yeah, you said that Logan was the best superhero movie of the year, and
I did.
the only
That stands.
I guess competitors for it were Wonder Woman and this Thor Ragnarok. Spider-Man
Different,
Homecoming, okay,
completely opposite ends of the scale. As
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Completely.
very funny.
Extremely funny. I mean,
But because directed by
Taika
Waititi.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for what we do in the shadows. If you're listening, you're probably not listening, but if you are, thank you so much for that, for Boy and for Wonder People and all of it.
Yeah.
He's great.
I mean,
Not a filmmaker I ever thought I'd see take a Marvel movie.
yeah.
But I guess they're really branching out, and I think some of their best outings are when they're giving it to the directors you're not expecting them to. We all would have liked, Edgar Wright to have done Ant-Man. We would have been excited for that, and seeing Taika Waititi attached to a Marvel thing got us so excited. We knew we were going to get something different, something special.
And the thing it nails most, obviously, is the humor, man.
Is the humor?
Jeff Goldblum putting in a really hilarious star turn there. You got Korg, the character played by Taika. Yeah. And I mean, even just smaller moments with Hemsworth?
Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah, I mean, just excellent. I mean, and the set pieces didn't disappoint too.
Oh, definitely not. And just if I can jump back to the humor, a lot of and obviously because it's a comic book movie, so as fans of comic books we tend to overanalyze it and go a little bit too deep into it. But one of the only things that people, I think they enjoy it, but people are like, how come Thor's funny now? It wasn't Thor this like ancient Norse kind of guy, and like what happened to his character? Now we're changing everything to be like the Marvel funny guy. Everyone's Star-Lord now.
Yeah, that's exactly what I know you were scared of when you watched the trailer for this, is that it would just be another Guardians of the Galaxy.
And especially with that soundtrack. The music that it was set to, more so in the trailer than in the actual film, but it just seemed like such a Guardians of the Galaxy feel, and I was like, are we saying that this is successful, so now we make that, but we copy-paste these characters in it? And no, because I actually very recently rewatched this movie, as in last night, and I felt like it made so much sense, because as funny as Thor is, they constantly make references to the Avengers and to this and to that, and he talks about, Tony and Bruce and the interpersonal relationships in the Avengers, and I was like, of course Thor's funny. He's been hanging out with some of the funniest, wittiest humans on Earth, Midgard. For we forget it because they're movies, but for a period of years. So he's picked up some traits, and he's learning to joke, and he's making fun of the Hulk or Iron Man and stuff. And it even makes sense from a story point of view why he's funnier specifically. And then put him into a funny movie overall, and I think it really does amplify. It's great.
Would you say this is the funniest Marvel movie?
I think so.
Yeah.
I personally think so. Yeah,
really?
Definitely.
I don't think that's out of place.
I don't remember ever being in stitches in any of the other Marvel movies. Like,
Guardians
of the Galaxy was a consistent
bits.
laugh, but this was just crazy funny. It was basically a comedy. It was a comedy first and foremost.
It was a comedy with some great action set pieces.
Yes.
Okay.
I think my only criticism of it as a superhero film is the fight scenes, which are different from set pieces, because set pieces are your big things that move the story along, but your individual fight scenes
So you're
were
talking
not
about
as
the choreography?
great.
Or?
Yeah, not as great, or they didn't have as much emotional impact as, because I think a set piece moves your story along, and a fight scene moves your characters along.
Yeah.
A fight is, it always, in a movie sense, a conversation between two characters, and then the resolution should move them kind of forward a little bit. And I think the fight scenes weren't really used to move Thor forward as much as they should have been, except for the final one, which was done through just a weak flashback, in my opinion. Having said that, I put this on my list, so I'm not taking anything away from it. Still really enjoyed it. The only weak performance, in my opinion, was Sir Anthony Hopkins. And shame, give the guy a break. He's really old. He just did a Transformers movie, so he's been infected with that.
That's drained.
That bad performance juju.
Yeah.
But Kate Blanchett, what's your opinion, Keegan, on her performance?
It's pain.
Paying out of 10. All right.
Yeah, she did great villain, man. Like I didn't expect Kate Blanchett to come out and be a fairly convincing villain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think she's the main villain.
Yeah,
And
she sold it. I think.
Yeah, she sold it.
I love the visual callback. She's very similar to Loki in terms of visuals. And having watched it again, they give her a lot of Loki mannerisms as well. The twin draw of the daggers gets, kind of
Even her
emulated.
appearance.
Yeah, the color scheme.
Yeah, the color scheme is
Everything. So again, she is a foil for Thor.
Yeah.
In the same way that Loki was originally a foil for Thor.
Yeah.
And then what they do with that is they have Loki in kind of slightly different costumes throughout the movie, so you don't see him in that classic green, black and gold kind of thing.
Yeah.
So you're almost even visually
distinct,
given this cue that Loki's not full on a villain anymore.
Yeah.
And then the development of Thor and Loki's relationship really makes sense. But Marvel's good at this by now.
Yeah.
They know exactly what they're doing, and they're going to keep getting my money.
Yeah.
They really are, because they're just knocking it absolutely out the park.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange, it highlighting what I think might be a small problem. I don't know if I have this problem with just Doctor Strange specifically or with movies, but so I don't think Benedict Cumberbatch sells Doctor Strange.
No.
I think everything about Doctor Strange is so cool that you could just have anyone who looks like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the magic movements, and there's a lot of humor in his scenes, and they're great. There's some of the funniest moments in the movie are the very small part of it which has Doctor Strange and Thor. But it's just, he doesn't have very much a personality. And especially on my second watch, it almost felt like adding in another superhero so that we go, he's from, yay, and we'll have that moment in the cinema rather than, even adding something cool, which is, and I think it's unfair to compare that to the Hulk because he's a very big part of the movie, but like he served some sort of purpose. Again, with character, Doctor Strange, from the Doctor Strange movie, I still kind of really don't understand what he cares about.
Yeah.
He's just like a cool guy, and he cared about getting his hands better. Cool. And then in this movie, he pitches up and leaves, and again, I'm like, I don't know what he adds to the team, to the Marvel Universe, etc. Maybe Infinity War will give us, a lot more from him. I'm hoping.
Yeah.
But, we'll see.
Yeah,
Well, there's quite a bit to salvage there, so I mean,
That's true. That's true. And the only other weakness from Marvel films for me, soundtrack, man. And I even felt it in this one. That Led Zeppelin track, which was the track for the trailer, and then they used it twice in the film. Great, and it really fits with the Norse vibe of the film because it's this kind of heavy metal, but it's not over the top, and it's great. But again, the score, man, it's just your generic superhero triumphant, and then a little bit of like the Stranger Things synth here and there, but not enough to make me even think of it as a distinctive sound. And I can't tell you how any of the Marvel movies sound. So
yeah.
that's my only negative about that. Moving on to another movie which had a kind of synthy soundtrack and was a visual delight. Blade Runner. 2049.
Blade Runner 2049.
Woo.
Ryan Gosling killing it. Ryan Gosling picking up some great roles of late.
Yes.
But yeah, basically, this is basically an evolution of his Drive character. Like a natural evolution of that. Just like emotionless. They just basically said to him, you were basically an android in Drive. We're making you
real.
Yeah. But yeah, aside from that, this was the pressure for making a sequel of a sci-fi trailblazer. I mean, Blade Runner, the original Blade Runner inspired so many sci-fi.
It did.
Yeah.
And I mean, the weight of pulling off a sequel is crazy for any director. But getting one of the best in the business in Denis Villeneuve, who you might know from Sicario, Arrival, Prisoners, and he nails it. I think he's the perfect director for this because he's got such a grasp on tension.
He does. He really does.
And if you're gonna nail all the revelations that happen in this film, you need tension to build up to all of them.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think he absolutely nails it.
Yeah, and I think I guess we can just talk about the most striking part of the movie was the visuals and the soundtrack.
Yeah, Hans Zimmer.
On cinematography, we've got Roger Deakins, right? He's done Fargo, Shawshank Redemption, Big Lebowski, No Country for Old Men, Hail Caesar, and that's literally a fraction of what he's done.
Yeah, and
absolute veteran.
All of Villeneuve's last few movies as well. He's also Roger Deakins.
And then we've got Hans Zimmer, who was, what can we say about Hans Zimmer?
Yeah, I think that list's a bit too long.
Yeah, that list. Yeah, we could. Not list.
People would roast me for the movies that I choose and for what I leave out because there's so many of them.
Yeah.
So you've got one of the best cinematographers ever, one of the best, composers ever, and which is really what you need, and one of the best new directors as well. And Roger Deakins, as you said, worked on Prisoners, Sicario, and then this. So he has such a feel for exactly what Villeneuve wants from his shots and how he needs them to look, and that's the kind of chemistry you want on such a movie that's on a knife's edge because such a cult following. Very easy to piss off fans. Whatever.
Of course,
you've got to, what the director has, his vision, you've got to get it completely right, and he did.
Yeah.
And that cast, Harrison Ford.
Yeah,
it's so great to see him having fun.
It is.
Filming things. Because he's a grumpy old man. He really is.
He is.
I don't know if you guys saw, he actually punched Ryan Gosling like square in the face for real while filming this. It's like an accident. Have you seen the two of them in interviews together? But
it's amazing.
They're brilliant. They're excellent.
So funny.
But yeah, the movie didn't overuse him as well. The first Blade Runner was heavily reliant on him.
Exactly.
And I guess the logic was to not use him as much this time around because, moving forward. But yeah, man, like you said, the visually striking, that's the thing that strikes you first about this movie. From that opening landscape in Dave Bautista's, the character, Sapper Morton, I think?
Yeah.
That's just... That's
great job, by the way, Dave Bautista.
Oh.
Yeah. There's another guy that's just easy. Going from strength to strength, really.
Yeah, he's on the come up for sure. I mean,
and he can actually act like.
Weirdly enough,
he kind of started off as being your typical wrestler to film transition, as being like the hired muscle.
Yeah.
And like the back of things, and then maybe it was Guardians of the Galaxy that gave him that shot, but. Guy's got range because Guardians of the Galaxy to this character
it's complete.
So Drax the Destroyer, Sapper Morton giving us like emotional and the short film that was released 2038 I think it's called, the one with Bautista in
2048
2048 that was really great too, and even let him flex his acting chops.
To be fair, if you haven't seen this film, guys, watch those shorts on YouTube before watching this.
And also, if you haven't seen this film, shame on you, because it should have done so much better than it did. This should not have been a box office flop.
Please buy the Blu-ray, guys.
Buy the
Blu-ray.
A bit sad for me. You predicted it because I was speaking to Keegan. I realized I shouldn't point to audio podcast. Keegan did predict it because I came out saying, "Oh man, this is gonna be so great. This movie's gonna do so well." And Keegan brought me back down to earth and said, "Man, this isn't gonna make money," and it didn't. And I guess that's kind of sad. It hasn't broken even.
I think
yet.
the main reason is that people just haven't seen the original, and you're not going to enjoy this as much if you haven't seen the original. It's as simple as that.
Okay, yeah, disclaimer. Don't watch this without watching the original.
Yeah.
You'll probably be a bit lost.
And make sure you get the right cut of the original too.
Oh,
because there are plenty.
Yeah.
Get the final cut.
Final cut.
Yeah.
That's the one. Just to quickly rattle off, Ana de Armas as the kind of cyborg or AI companion.
Yeah, fantastic.
Amazing job. Robin Wright. Such an amazing job, and she's been great. She was in Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
She's done House of Cards until that unfortunately stopped. But she was great in that. I mean, she'll always be Jenny to me, but yeah, she's really been doing a great job lately.
And then we've got that new Sylvia Hooks, I think her name is. She's probably the standout of the non-essential character. Well, she's an essential character, but I mean the non-lead characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Jared Leto.
Yeah, of course.
Redemption after Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Which I think we can all agree was bad.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it there because we don't want to spend 30 minutes destroying Suicide Squad. The internet has done that for us.
Yeah. We don't need a podcast.
Nothing else needs to be said.
Yeah.
I think also just thematically, the concepts of reality and humanity and consciousness, so great. The movie really made me think, had me thinking for a while afterwards.
And I think the original did a good job of introducing those themes. And I think another challenge for this film was to not retread themes from the original, but to introduce new themes. And I think it did that successfully.
Yeah. And even taking the theme from the first one and going, oh no, you thought it stopped there, and going another level deeper.
Definitely.
It was great.
Yeah.
Really cool. Another thing that's talking about deeper, very deep emotional movie with 2 votes is Call Me By Your Name.
Another one I haven't seen.
Yeah. Also quite recent though.
Yeah.
So it must be said. And I don't know how many cinemas it's out in. It had a limited release after appearing in some festivals.
Will we even get that at Nouveau?
It might go to Cinema Nouveau, but yeah, I think it will get a bit of a wider release now with all of the traction and popularity that it's gaining. But yeah, this movie took me by surprise.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen any marketing material for it
Not at all.
before. I
think just the buzz is what sort of compelled us to watch it though.
I don't know, or I'm not familiar with, I'm going to butcher this, Luca Guadagnino? Oh my goodness, I've destroyed that. It's Italian.
Guadagnino, I can't say it any better than you.
I'm not too familiar with his work, but it's apparently the 3rd installment in his Desire trilogy that started with I Am Love and went to A Bigger Splash, which has been talked about a lot. So I'm definitely going to be going and watching his older films because what he did with this I thought was absolutely beautiful. You Keegan?
Yeah, beautiful film. I wish I actually saw a clearer version of it because the cinematography looked great.
It did.
And the soundtrack by Sufjan, heavily involved in the soundtrack.
Heavily involved. Fun fact, so they originally actually wanted Sufjan Stevens to play all the music and be the narrator.
Yeah.
Because there was originally going to be a narrator of...
Oh, he'd be a perfect voice for that.
It would have been, but then he couldn't do it, scheduling, and he didn't feel he was right for the project, and eventually he just contributed songs.
Yeah.
But the ones that he did contribute fit the atmosphere really well.
They were always used at the most vital moments, the credits. And that song that they use, I think it's called The Mystery of Love. That they use the first time they go away together. Yeah, that's
very cool.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're wondering, Call Me By Your Name is a coming of age story, but
I hate that description because it's so overused.
Yeah, whenever someone says coming of age story, I just think, oh, so this is like Juno, but with like a different way of putting it. Which obviously isn't true. I guess that was my first one. We're not that old, born in 93, so like kind of the first coming of age story I remember watching was probably Juno.
Yeah.
But I guess it's more so a movie about falling in love and what love can be.
So would you say a taboo relationship simply because of the time it was set in? The 80s?
I guess, yeah. From being set then, possibly even so now in some places. But I think the purity of the relationship and the love that is in the film does kind of transcend it being a gay movie, and it really is just a movie that anyone I think can relate to.
Indeed.
I don't think straight people will struggle relating to the relationship as it's shown or the emotions that the characters feel, about themselves, the person they're falling for, and about love as a concept.
Yeah.
I think anyone can kind of relate to it.
I mean, we did. So.
And we did, and you know, so it's a literary. That's me rewinding. A literary adaptation. And I'm going to be reading the book, but apparently the book is a lot more explicit.
I mean, this got pretty explicit. Like
it did, but the book even more so. With a peach, there's a great scene.
Practice
with a peach. Practice what you peach. That's so much funny if you'd seen the film. I'm sorry. But it's really. I don't think anyone will be off-put, even people of the more conservative disposition. You might maybe have some trouble with it.
You overestimate those people.
Yeah, maybe those people
You
are
do.
really, yeah. If you're a bigot, don't watch it, and also stop listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
Get out of here. I don't like it. Yeah, I think even if you're more conservative, you probably would still like the movie, even if maybe you don't kind of watch all of some scenes.
Yeah.
The impact of said scene would still probably really get to you. And the director actually said that he believes that the sex is more important for what it does for the characters, and that's why he didn't even show explicit sex scenes, and it's more alluded to in a very tasteful, beautifully cinematic way. And I thought that was really cool. Another thing that struck me, even though it's based on a book, some of the best scenes in this movie play out without dialogue.
Yeah.
And it just goes to kind of highlight the strength of Timothée Chalamet and Armie Hammer, who completely carry this movie. Armie Hammer, I've been a fan of. I think he's great. I think he's been good in everything he's been in.
Yes.
And he's a snack. It must be said. He's a good-looking guy. And Timothée Chalamet, very new. The only other thing I saw him in was Lady Bird.
Yeah. Also this year? Oh.
And that's also this year. So
I think there was something else, but I can't quite remember.
Yeah.
I mean, probably, He's not new to acting himself. It's just me discovering him.
His look is deceiving.
Yeah, it's true. He's not as young.
He's
as
not
he
17.
Yeah, 22-year-old man, but still impressive performance for a 22-year-old.
Indeed.
And earning him that nomination.
Yeah.
Best lead actor. So very cool, and I really enjoyed that. I think. Yeah, it kind of goes away from your typical coming of age story. Kind of, I'm in love with two people. Which one should I choose? And you're kind of. Also, other kind of cliches like, I'm the funny best friend who's going to give you advice, but I'm also here for humor. Like, it doesn't really delve into the... It stays away from them. It's really cool. Yeah. A lot of the staff on the property are literally just people from Italy. They're not actors.
Ooh.
Which is also cool, and it brings that kind of sense of realism in. You get like kind of a Master of None feel from some of the scenes. You're like, how did they get this to be so real? Because it is.
Yeah.
So, I thought that was really cool. Moving on from things we agree with. These last couple of movies only have one vote. That means they were put forward by one of us, and the rest of us are going to try and not be too salty towards the other people in the podcast. First up, we have It.
Yeah. This one I put forward just solely from, personal opinion. I enjoyed it.
And that's valid.
I don't think it was. I think I put this one forward from a different perspective. Just I enjoyed it. It wasn't something that I can go too deep into, but just it's one of those things where they could have really messed it up if you think about it. I mean, it's been done before. Very famous author. It's something they could have messed up. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I enjoyed it so much, is because I was expecting them to mess it up. And
they've messed up so many Stephen King adaptations already.
They have, Dark Tower.
Let's not get started on that. Another thing that, this might be a silly reason, but I am hooked on Stranger Things, and this came out at a point where Stranger Things, we were kind of wanting it to come out. So it did. I'm not saying they're the same thing, but you can draw a lot of similarities. Kids running around with 80s music. So from that point of view, it satisfied, that hole that was missing with Stranger Things. But great cast with the kids. The kids carried the whole movie. That's another thing that's...
I was just going to say that, this and Stranger Things, they don't succeed without that great cast of kids. Right?
Yeah. And I think that's mainly why I put it forward. Just you don't see a whole cast of kids where you just can't pick one kid that was weaker than the other kid, and in terms of acting ability, and they just all carry the movie.
Fair enough.
So yeah, I really enjoyed it just from that point of view.
Yeah, awesome. I think I really enjoyed it. I think one of the only reasons I didn't quite enjoy it as much as I would have liked to is I went into it expecting this really scary movie.
Yeah.
And I came out having watched just a really great, moving film about kids and fear, the nature of fear and the embodiment and personification of it. And I guess like it was kind of wrong of me to count that as a downside, because no one ever said this is a scary movie.
Yeah.
I just assumed it because we associate clowns with being scary. Thanks Tim Curry for like the original Pennywise portrayal, which is great. But I think because that scared me so much when I was a kid, I went in expecting this to be something that it wasn't. But again, that's not actually a bad thing. And I think whether you like Stephen King or whether you like horror, you know, I think it's worth a watch. I think it is a great film.
It is.
And it's very strong. And Bill Skarsgård did a great job.
He did, yeah.
As Pennywise, man.
No, look, I had the exact same problem as you going into it. I thought, you know, this is going to be a very scary movie. And it wasn't. It really wasn't. I mean, but... And for that reason, it wasn't going to make my list initially. But it's one of those movies that you have to think about differently afterwards. And yeah, like you said, they weren't looking to make it a scary movie. So... or as scary as probably we were anticipating. So yeah, from that point of view, I think it was a sound movie. It wasn't too bad at all.
And it's made me very excited to see the sequel, because of course the original miniseries goes into the future of the kids, and that's in production. That is going to be happening. So it has actually made me very excited for the sequel, and I guess that's a testament to the strength of the movie. Anything you want to? No?
I think you guys summed it up.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. The next thing that only got one vote, which was from me, The Big Sick.
The Big Sick, another one I haven't seen.
I think I was heavily invested in this movie before it came out for a variety of reasons. I love Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah.
Great in oh my goodness, I was about to say the IT crowd. That's disgusting. Silicon Valley.
Whoa!
Because we're talking about it, and that's IT, and there are steps here. It makes sense, kind of. I've really enjoyed Kumail on that show. He's been great. I've actually watched some of his stand-up after that show, and I thought he was very funny.
Yeah.
And when I saw the premise for the film, I thought, well, this is interesting. This is a really cool little set piece. For anyone who doesn't know, it's basically a comedian, you know, kind of falls for this girl, and then there's like issues because of his religion and his family situation with arranged marriages, and then she falls ill, and then the movie kind of plays out from there. I don't want to give too much away. That's the basic premise of the film. Interesting. From a rom-com perspective, you know, rom-coms get churned out so much. It's very much a rom-com machine nowadays, and it was refreshing to see something kind of funny that didn't seem like something I'd seen before, which I really loved. I guess also super personal for me. I am a brown man. I am dating a white woman from a different country with a different culture. Where her parents have different religious kind of views to my parents, and there's been a lot of tension, a lot of very funny moments, a lot of kind of creepy moments for me and for her as well. And I guess it was really personal for me, and I watched it with my girlfriend Sophia as well. So like, it really just hit me super hard. And like I know I was crying more than anyone else in the cinema. Like, and I know that, and I was aware why as well, just because it was like so real. But also really, really funny. Kumail Nanjiani.
He nails it. Yeah.
Ray Romano.
He was excellent.
Oh, so good. I've missed him. I didn't know I missed Ray Romano, and I didn't know that he had such a cool range of like deep acting ability.
He does
as well, because he pulled off that emotion really well. I believe that relationship with him and his wife in the movie, played by Holly Hunter, who also did an amazing job. And it's really cool to see a non-white lead in a rom-com. As funny as it seems, like I'm saying non-white stuff, you actually don't see them in rom-coms that much. They're very much the sidekick or the funny guy, and he carried it very well. And I think it's nice to be able to open the door. So with Master of None and The Big Sick, being in a similar time, it's really cool to see people kind of flying the flag for people of color and not just black people. Because there are a whole bunch of ethnicities who maybe don't get as much
of course.
roles in Hollywood as they should, and it's just been really cool to see that. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I have to say about The Big Sick. I don't regret putting on my list.
Awesome.
Strong film.
Yeah.
Moving on to something that got only one vote from Keegan, which is, I guess, pretty indicative of how divisive this movie has been in the public eye, and it's Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
I love that I love this movie so much. It just pisses so many people off. I love it. But yeah, in essence, why I love it so much is that Rian Johnson, the director, his overall thematic and bigger decisions, I loved, and I agree with every single one of them. And for me, as a result of that, I think I can overlook the odd weird pacing or the weird execution of a CGI moment or something like that. And as a whole, I walked away from that movie thinking about it a lot and looking up loads of analysis pieces and that sort of thing. And I think visually it gives us the most distinct Star Wars film visually. It gives us the best lightsaber battle across the whole franchise. Easily.
Strong opinion.
The most interesting and visually satisfying lightsaber battle across the whole franchise.
Not the best though. Yeah, go on.
Gives us the best performance across the whole franchise. Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker.
No, I'm not going to stop you. You finish.
And I love it. I think it's a step up from The Force Awakens in my personal opinion, again, because this is an opinion. And I think after The Force Awakens, we needed something that's going to take us out of that nostalgic comfort that The Force Awakens presented to us and moved us forward a little bit and caused us to think about, a different way of thinking about the franchise in general. And just the fact that it subverted expectations at almost every turn and executed it mostly well. That's why I love The Last Jedi. And we could literally, you guys are going to have some strong ass opinions on this, and we could literally do a whole podcast just about this.
Yeah.
Maybe we will.
Or maybe just a Star Wars one. We don't want to make a all negative. But I think, so from my perspective, I really did enjoy going to see another Star Wars movie. I think Star Wars will have to really, or Disney, or JJ, whoever's taking control of it, will really have to work hard to make me walk out thinking, I wish I hadn't seen that movie.
Yeah.
So, just up front, I don't hate The Last Jedi, and I enjoyed watching it. I don't think it's a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. I don't think it's the worst Star Wars movie ever. Some people do, and they're entitled to their opinion, but I don't think it is.
Guys,
I don't think it's as bad as The Phantom Menace.
You guys forgetting about all 3 prequels? I don't know.
How dare you? Sith is good. 3 is good.
No.
I mean, okay. So now, just to break down your points, like one by one, the best lightsaber battle is most obviously Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi against Darth Maul.
Yeah.
And because if you're saying that The Last Jedi is better because of better visuals, then the prequels would be, the original trilogy would be bad because they're shot ages ago, and I don't think that what makes a good lightsaber battle, I think, as I said, fight scenes for me in movies serve to move characters along while set pieces move the plot along, and the set pieces in this one, it must be said, are great, amazing. We probably should have said spoilers a little bit before this one, but some spoilers here. That big Laura Dern's character, that general, shooting in hyperspeed through those others. Just visually and audio wise, one of the best moments in cinema. So great. Counteracted with Leia flying like the Wicked Witch of the West through the air. One of the worst moments, and I think that's my problem with this movie, is that there are so many choices outside the overall theme, which I support Rian Johnson's vision. And some of the choices even though they're not what I would do, I don't think they're necessarily bad, but there are just too many missteps here for me to have put this on my list. The Canto Bites Casino Planet, which if you edit it completely out of the movie, makes no difference to the plot.
Yeah.
Except for I don't even think it sets up the romance between Finn and Rose, but so I think it was a bit of a waste of a sequence, not because of where it's set or anything, but I think they could have done something a bit more influential there than Save the Animals, because that's just like, it feels like another, as we said with Get Out or Three Billboards, when you're touching on different topics, not to give one way more agency than the other. And I feel like the looking after space animals angle was used as a gag in one section with the Porgs, and then a serious thing in another section with these enslaved creatures, and I was like, oh, what am I supposed to feel?
Yeah.
I didn't like that, and I think the biggest, having seen it the second time in the UK with Sophia, the biggest thing I didn't agree with was when Rose, massive spoiler alert, go 45 seconds in the future if you don't want this. When Rose crashes and saves Finn and says, we don't do this by sacrificing ourselves, and fighting against what we hate. Do it by saving what we love, which is the opposite of what her sister did in the very beginning of the movie, when she hated the Empire and fought to destroy the Empire. And Laura Dern, she's doing things all out of these emotions. To say that Finn's attempt was anything different from that, and I just think thematically, if that's what you wanted to say, there were different ways to do that, or a better way to approach that. Having said that, if that moment hits well for other people, I totally understand. Then I guess the rest of the movie pointed you in a different direction, and that's fine. Rey's parentage, I'm not going to comment on, because I still hold out hope that there will be something later, if only for the fact that it's okay to say that it's not important, or that Snoke's origin is not important, or how anything came to be is not important.
Yeah.
But I think it's wrong to deny people information, because that's a big part of what made Star Wars great, is because there was this massive world and all these cool things that you could discover, and making everyone a mystery box means that no one's really a mystery box anymore, because now we're all just these question characters. I'm done. Over to you, Dylan.
That's the opposite of what. Anyway, we will challenge those in a few minutes. But before you start, Dylan, just ultimately what I think is going to affect your enjoyment of this film are those three central things. If you don't agree with the handling of Luke Skywalker in the film, you're not going to enjoy the film. If you didn't enjoy the fact that Rey's parentage, the way that Rey's parentage was handled, you're not going to enjoy the film. Same thing with Snoke's identity. And once those three things go wrong, and those are big things in the movie, you're probably going to nitpick on everything else that happens in the movie. But anyway, on to you, Dylan.
Yeah, well,
the strongest anti-opinion of the bunch.
No, well, the thing is, the way you guys just summed it up now at the end is how I feel now. When I first came out of the movie, Keegan knows, I absolutely hated it. I was so angry about it. Just the amount of expectation going into it, and that misled me. But the way you guys have summed it up now, I think is the best way to look at it. Yeah. I don't think there's a right and a wrong with this movie. For the first time in a long time, I think the two separate camps, or like you, Ezra said, there might even be more camps in this than just two. I don't think any particular camp is wrong. Yeah. I think, like you say, if you don't like some of those decisions, if you don't like the fact that they're leaving out Rey's parentage, or those sorts of things, you're not going to enjoy it. Yeah. And that's not down to anything that we can really control. That's just you either watched the first movie and wanted to try and put pieces together and speculate, or you didn't, or you were waiting for something new. Unfortunately, I fell into the trap of speculating, and it's my own fault for not enjoying it. That's the way I see it.
I personally don't think it's a trap, because it's very much how the movie is constructed.
That's also true. Yeah.
That's how J.J. Abrams made the movie. And I don't think it's a trap when you pose the audience questions and then not really punishing them, because we choose to take movies seriously because a lot of us enjoy diving into fictional worlds. It's a big part of what we like as moviegoers and people who enjoy them.
Yeah.
And I just think the handling of it might possibly have been affected by the change in director, which is a bit different for Star Wars specifically. And when we think about other shared universes, etc., so Marvel, there's a director on the film who has a lot of say in terms of how the film plays out and the humor and the lines, etc., but very much controlled by Marvel and a set path because they had to, because of the way that they're constructing it to all converge, as we said earlier, to Infinity War. Had to be meticulously worked out and mapped out and in detail. And with Star Wars, we know for a fact there wasn't as much planning in terms of a future, because as we know now, Rian Johnson, the director of The Last Jedi, will have his own trilogy. That was not predetermined. We didn't know that J.J. Abrams was going to be directing Episode 9 until after this movie, and J.J. Abrams said that he didn't know. So a lot of things are changing. Does that perhaps affect the flow from movie to movie? Yes, and I don't think it makes the movie necessarily bad, because like we've said, visually stunning. No matter what your opinion is, I think you'll find a performance you'll like. I think either you'll like Mark Hamill or Adam Driver or Daisy Ridley or even John Boyega or Oscar Isaac. Like there's something for everyone, I think. And even if you go in just for one specific thing, if you can tune out some of the stuff that you don't like, I think everyone can find something that they enjoy. Even the people who say that they hated it and it was the worst movie, they must have liked the fight, or they must have liked something in it. So I think,
I mean, it's one of those things that you're just gonna have to look back at. As I say, when I came out, I hated it, but after many debates with Keegan and you, I mean, I've sort of come around to thinking differently, and I can just accept that there's going to be two ways of thinking about it, but I can appreciate what was good in the movie.
I mean, who knows? Our opinions might change over time. I mean,
maybe
that happened with The Force Awakens. I mean, people loved it going out, and then over time started seeing too many parallels with Episode 4. Who knows?
I mean, maybe we'll look back on this trilogy afterwards, retrospectively, and get a collective idea.
It'll all fit.
It'll all fit, or maybe won't. But let's not speculate on the future. Let's talk about here and now the final one-vote movie, which was my vote, Baby Driver. Baby Driver. It's the Ant-Man film we never got. I mean, that's a bit strong. It's probably not. But the decision to make this movie at this time was because Edgar Wright was originally attached to direct Ant-Man. He had creative differences with Marvel, and he said, okay, I'm not going to make a movie that I don't fully believe in, which is great. I think more directors should do that. I think it's really cool to be able to get an unfiltered vision from an artist, and that's what we really got in Baby Driver. Massive Edgar Wright fan. I've loved the Cornetto trilogy, just such great movies that give me a lot of joy over the years, and this movie's no different for me. I think it's amazing. I think as a music head, a music lover, a music buff, I was in love with the sound design in this movie. Every gunshot and foot on the floor and pedal and clicking sound is completely on beat and fits in with the music. The footsteps and movements of people, the choreography, there's something so musical about this movie. There's such a rhythm that flows through the entire thing that I think even people who don't like this movie find themselves drawn in, and then after the movie they say, didn't really like it, but it catches you because rhythm is something that you can't get away from. Everyone has a heartbeat. Everyone has, a daily routine. There are things that you can't escape, and rhythm is one of them. And I think tying music to a movie, and then on a smaller level to a character in Ansel Elgort's, thank you, Ansel Elgort's, baby character, is really cool because it's a big theme, and then it's a small theme when it's with the character, and then the theme of music spills out into all the other characters as well. And every character has their own music and their own rhythm, and then the way that kind of functions and plays out is amazing. I love Edgar Wright's approach to writing the silent driver, protagonist. I thought it was really cool. I thought it was interesting. It's really easy to fall into the trap of doing the Ryan Gosling character.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that.
Yeah.
I felt a lot more emotionally attached to Ansel Elgort's character than I did to Ryan Gosling's. Not to say that I didn't enjoy Drive, I did. But this one really got me. But again, just because I love the music so much, I allowed everything in the movie to tug my heartstrings and bring me into it. So I think it was cool. Great supporting cast from John Hamm to your Jamie Foxxes to your Lily James, Flea, Red Hot Chili Peppers making a little appearance. I love that. Kevin Spacey did do a good job.
Yeah.
In that. Look at me tiptoeing around that. So I think just a great movie that I loved.
Baby Driver was a weird one for me, and I think for you too, Dylan. Just for some reason, I can't even explain why. It just doesn't add up to the sum of its parts, For some reason, I just didn't walk away from it feeling as energized and as, thinking about it as much as I wanted to, because I love Edgar Wright as much as you do. And I think if I had to pinpoint a reason, I think I'd put it down to hype. Mm-hmm. We spoke about hype in our last podcast.
Yeah.
And
I think that's definitely what got me with this as well, because it is a great movie.
Yeah.
And listening to Ezra describe it, I agree with everything he's saying, but hype just gets you, man.
Yeah, it does. And I think maybe I'm losing a bit of respectability here because I'm failing to objectify my, my view here. But yeah, it just didn't grab me as much as I wanted it to. Like, you think, based on what you've seen, everyone was telling me Edgar Wright's best movie. From the get-go, that raises your expectation, and
that's a dangerous thing. Yeah.
It is a dangerous thing, and ultimately, it just didn't hit me as much as I wanted it to. Okay. It has all the ingredients. I love heist films. I love films that integrate music in an innovative way.
And can it be said, wish fulfillment? Don't we all have that soundtrack to our life?
Exactly.
You listen to a song, you imagine how things would be, and it's very cinematic whenever you imagine it. And it's, I think, definitely wish fulfillment on Edgar Wright's part. It's how he's always envisioned or imagined scenes playing for him, and the soundtrack was so stellar. And
even I love some of the cast members as well. So like I said, it's just a weird one for me.
Well, I don't think you can really put it on anything in particular, because with hype, it's just it gets you, man. It's not it's not something you can really explain. And as I say, I watched this really trying to find a reason as to why I wasn't enjoying it as much as I wanted to, but I couldn't find that reason because, and I think that's what you're trying to say earlier. I mean,
indeed,
it's just hype. You end up comparing it to something that you yourself can't even describe. So that's why you just end up not knowing why you disliked it.
It's so difficult once you've got that hype injected into you to separate yourself from it and just level-headedly go in and watch the movie.
I guess not as divisive as The Last Jedi, but I can totally understand how someone could just not have this be in their top movies. But I think watch it because you'll probably enjoy it even if you don't love it.
Oh, for sure.
Indeed. So
so we've kind of broken it down.
Yeah, that sums up our 12 favorite movies of the year collectively. And I think a pretty great list. A lot of good movies on there that everyone should watch before we start getting into the big push of movies from 2018. If you want to catch up on your 2017 movies, we're in a great lull. If you're at work, you've got a lot of time. A lot of the big stuff hasn't come in yet. Watch these movies on your lunch breaks. Ignore your boss. And we'll just quickly hit you up with our ranking of our 5 favorite movies.
All right,
just to sum it all up.
Of these 12, our individual 5 favorites. Keegan, do you want to kick us off with your top 5?
Yes, I will start you guys off. So in at number 5, I've got The Shape of Water. In at number 4, I've got 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Number 3, I've got Get Out. 2, Logan. And my favorite film of 2017 is none other than Blade Runner 2049. Yeah. Ultimately, the movie I found myself thinking about the most out of all of them. And yeah, I just think it delivered on in every possible way. I'm just happy with it, you know, like you think about the original, you think about how, I think an interesting point here is that there was no nostalgia element for us watching this movie, you know, and if the movie still sticks with you, if a sequel still sticks with you after that, you know it's really good.
Yeah, can't deny that.
Yeah. It's my movie of the year.
Great. Dylan?
I think instead of doing a top 5, I'm going to go with the top 4 here because I don't feel as though it stacks up. The title quite stacks up with some of the rest of these. I just drew it in merely from point of view that I haven't seen some of these other ones which I know I'm going to enjoy, like Blade Runner. So I think my top 4 would probably be at number 4, Logan. At number 3, probably 3 Billboards.
Three Billboards.
Number 2, The Disaster Artist.
Oh.
And number 1, Get Out. Like I said, really love that movie. I can't say anything bad about it. So yeah,
indeed,
that's me.
All right.
Awesome.
Okay.
And to you?
Oh, okay. Ezra's list. Oh no, that's weird. I shouldn't speak in third person. Oh, sorry. Well, my list. I think I struggled with this a lot more than you guys.
Definitely. Yeah.
I've been agonizing over picking these. I think because I'm in love with all of these movies so much. It was very difficult for me to choose. But in at number 5 is Blade Runner 2049. Ooh. And in at number 4, I have The Shape of Water.
Okay.
And at my number 3 is 3 Billboards.
Okay.
Outside
Okay.
of
3 Billboards again.
And at my number 2 is Get Out. Absolutely loved. And in at my number 1 is Call Me By Your Name.
Whoa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think when I watched Call Me By Your Name, I didn't come out of it being unbelievably excited and thinking that was the best movie of 2017, but I haven't. It has crossed my mind every day since I watched it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I find myself.
It's the ultimate criteria.
Exactly, and the character, the portrayals of character by Armie Hammer, by Timothée Chalamet, by Michael Stuhlbarg. They've made me think about my own life so much, and myself and my personal identity and the way that I deal with things around me. I've ordered the book.
Oh, cheap.
Yeah, like it really has grabbed me. I have these haunting moments where I like look at trees and I hear the soundtrack.
Okay.
The monologue by Stuhlbarg.
Yeah.
When he's speaking to Timothée Chalamet.
Maybe you snubbed it.
Yeah, possibly.
Oh.
But that monologue gave me. I'm getting goosebumps now talking about it. But it was one of these moments where, because I was watching it at home, I had my laptop. I didn't even put it on my big screen. I was sitting. I had my laptop, and at the end of that monologue, I wasn't like heavy crying. I had a little bit of tears, but I lost track of my room. Everything blacked out. I was sucked completely in, and that's what this movie did for me. It made me feel so strongly about so many things, and maybe I'm being, contrived and overly philosophical and something like that. But
that's what really was such best does to you.
Yeah.
I think that's the best type of criteria to judge these movies, but that's how it makes you feel personally.
Yeah.
And this had a deeper impact on me than any other movie on this list, and I know that I'll be coming back to this movie quite often, and it's made me think about how I'm going to be as a person, as a man, as a father one day, that sort of thing. And that's such a compliment to the director and to the cast and to everyone involved. So that would be my top pick.
All right.
Great, here we are. Not as short as we had hoped. Sorry to everyone who told us that our first one was too long. But hey, if you were one of those people and you're still listening to now, maybe you're lying to yourself. Thank you so much for listening to the OVERTHUNK Podcast.
All right.
We've really enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed it too. And we're going to be hitting you up with our favorite series of 2017 and series to look out for, because we think 2018 is going to be a great year for that. We're also going to be doing an Oscars special because, we'd like to predict the Oscars, but also tell you what we think our picks would be. Dylan, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Great.
Awesome. Good night. Save water.
Please.
If you're in Cape Town, we're in a drought. Save water, be nice to other people. And if you're anywhere else in the world, remember that water is a precious resource that could leave at any time. Tip your waiters, buckle your seat belts, and close your eyes when you're kissed. Don't be creepy. Thanks for listening.